Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of my Svargrounded locked Ironman. Join me today as I assault women for a cape, sacrifice 20k capacity for fashion and slaughter some big blue people. In the last episode I was able to lay my hands on the furry club. With this mighty tool of distraction I was ready to take on my next enemy. As you likely saw in my last episode, that enemy was going to be the Barbarians. The items that I need to obtain from the Barbarians are as follows: a Creamhorn helmet from the Head Splitters, or a Ragnir helmet from the Skull Hunters, a Scale armor from either of the two, a Brute Tamer's staff from the Brute Tamers, and a Mammoth Fur cape also from the Brute Tamers. On top of that, every single Barbarian has a chance of dropping the fur boots. When it comes to the helmets, they both drop about once in 1000 kills. They both have 6 points of armor, but the Ragnir helmet is significantly lighter. Scale armor is a very common drop that I am not even going to bother highlighting. The Brute Tamer's staff is a potential upgrade to my current weapon. However, it requires 2 hands to use, which is a problem I will explain later. Mammoth Fur Cape is a great little piece. It offers 10 points of armor while being very light, which is going to be a huge help, since as a paladin I cannot afford to carry as many potions as I would like. And finally, the fur boots. While they do offer more armor than my current leather ones, they will also slow me down. It won't be that much of a problem seeing how I usually fight with melee. However, since it is only 1 point of armor increase, in some cases it may not be worth it to wear them. I probably said so many times already, but the way Tibia calculates armor rating makes it so only the even numbers matter. For example, 30 is the same as 31. I do not believe I will ever bother to take them off should my armor rating be an uneven number, but it is just something I wanted to bring attention to. Like I mentioned before, out of the items I seek, the Scale armor is the most common one, so it is no surprise that I would get it first. As you can probably see, the Barbarians didn't really pose much of a threat. I haven't hunted them before, but thankfully they weren't such tough opponents. My hunting spot of choice is the camp called Bittermoor. It is a rather small but very densely populated area. It mostly contains harmless Skull Hunters and Head Splitters, as well as 5 quick respawns of the Brute Tamers, and 1 single Barbarian Bloodwalker. In the early stages of my hunts, I would avoid the Bloodwalker since he is capable of dealing high amounts of damage, while always being surrounded by other creatures. Weakest of the bunch are the Head Splitters. In theory, they are capable of dealing higher amounts of damage. However, they do not have much armor, which means they can be quickly disposed of before they have the potential to deal that damage. The Skull Hunters are a little bit more melee oriented than the Head Splitters. They have higher armor and can deal slightly higher melee damage, though they lack the Head Splitters' ranged attack. And finally, the Brute Tamers. Unlike other Barbarians who always engage in melee and never run away, Brute Tamers prefer to keep their distance, while also firing at you from range. If low on health, they will retreat. They can heal about a third of their HP every other turn, and always summon 2 werewolves to aid them. Especially on lower levels I had to be extra careful not to follow them too deep into the caves, while in small groups the Barbarians didn't pose much of a threat. Should I get surrounded by them, I would surely meet my demise. Thankfully, throughout the cave there are many spots where you can stand so that only 2 enemies can reach you at the moment. Thanks to those, hunting in Bittermoor is fairly easy, especially on lower levels. To reach Bittermoor I would use the path through the mountains. It is possible to walk there, even though there is a faster option that I would learn later. Initially, I wasn't aware that Battle, the Barbarian raft captain, can transport you there without you being on a quest. It is a case for certain locations, such as Helheim, so I assumed the same goes for the Barbarian camps. Thankfully, it wasn't a very long walk. and sometimes on the way there I would chance to meet another brute tamer, increasing my chances of obtaining some rare items. Funny enough, the rarest drop from the brute tamers are the mammoth fur shorts. They have no use in the game, they do not offer any protection. Despite being this hard to obtain, I definitely wanted to lay my hands on those, though I would not forsake my 2 points of armor that the studded legs offer. Besides, I understand that they were supposed to be just the general barbarian pants, though I was kind of concerned by the fact that you can only obtain this panty looking fur cloth from the only female barbarian. In any case, as cool as that would be, I will not wear those. Now then, a short time-lapse of my barbarian kills. Another unsurprising drop, the fur boots. Even though by no means common, every single enemy I kill has a chance of dropping those, so I expected them to appear very early on. Level 27. I can now create the holy magic missile runes. Thanks to those I can do some AFK magic training and also increase my kill ratio. Did I mention skull hunters and head splitters can drop life rings? It's not often enough to be sustainable, but still a nice trinket to have. At this point my hunt was dry for almost 6 hours now, but finally I got the cool looking creamhorn helmet. Not even a full hour after, the Ragnir helmet, Primhorn's lighter counterpart. "12 hours in and you can see I am wearing the Creamhorn helmet again. Despite the difference in capacity, I simply like the way Creamhorn helmet looks way better, so I'll be wearing that from now on. Hour 13 and I finally get one of the Brute Tamer drops. The Brute Tamer's staff, despite having higher attack rating compared to my furry club, it does not offer enough in terms of defense and simply makes my hunts more wasteful. I tried it for about half an hour and then decided I will go back to using the one-handers. Even though my melee skill does not progress so fast, my shielding level is quite high at this point. Not using a shield to make use of that would be a crime, which I am not going to commit. Level 40 and now I can use the Divine Missile. I no longer need to spend time to make runes, I can instead bring some more potions and just spam the spell. It's not as high damage as the rune, but it still is enough to speed up my hands. And finally, on 19 hours mark, a Brute Tamer drops the Mammoth Fur Cape. Not only does it bring my armor rating to even a higher level, it also frees up around 100 points of capacity. Not to mention it looks really fashionable. My next goal is going to be the Norse shield. it can drop from either the Frost Giants or the Frost Giantesses in about 1 in 300 kills. Funny enough, you can also get shards from them. Shards rarely drop from some Svargrounded enemies and are used for unlocking the Norseman outfit. By some weird twist of fate, I would drop 2 of those before I got my hands on the Norse shield. Thankfully, it didn't take any longer than about 4 hours to complete the grind. Except for the studded legs, I had something Tibia Wiki calls the Norse set. While it drips with this exaggerated swagger of a Norse barbarian, it is by no means strong equipment. Thanks to my holy magic, I am able to deal some damage despite my weapon not being up to par. But there is nothing that can compensate my low armor. My next hunt is going to be quite a jump in difficulty, and so I will have to use every trick up my sleeve to even out the odds. As usual, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Leave me a comment if you did. Feel very welcome to subscribe and also consider joining my Discord channel. Thanks to that you can stay more up to date with my challenges and also follow the challenges of other people who have joined me on a similar journey. Well then, until next time.